Welcome to today's webinar, Transforming Contact Center Experience. Our speakers will showcase how you can fully harness the insights held within the conversations your agents are having with your customers to improve your experience you are delivering. With me today, I have Jeremy Griffiths, XR Advisor, and Evelin Kremer, Director of Solution Consulting at InMoment. In her role as Director of Solution Consulting, Evelin Kremer has over 14 years of experience. At InMoment supports European clients in crafting effective experience improvement programs, specializing in tailored online reporting and feedback system, quantitative market research, and intercultural management. She navigates the complexity of international program implementations. Jeremy Griffiths, our VP of Insights and Consulting, has over 25 years of experience designing and delivering best practice customer and employee experience management programs, advising clients from multiple sectors, including healthcare, automotive, FinServe, hospitality, and technology, and more. He provides a focus on delivering insights and data-driven decision-making. And with that, we have an awesome team here to kind of take you through conversation intelligence today. And with that, I hand over to you, Jeremy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much indeed, Deanna. So the first slide I wanted to start on is one that actually makes me feel a little bit sad, because we as CX practitioners are working so hard to improve customers' experiences. And yet this data from NICE, from their 2024 CX trend study, is saying that 57% of consumers feel their experiences have gotten worse in the past year. And I kind of scratch my head, why is this happening? Now, I know customers' needs, expectations are constantly changing, and it's as if we're running a race where the finishing line keeps moving 5 yards back every time we get close. But really, we've got to think about, why is this happening? If all the effort we have on making improvements to products, to processes, to experiences, all these things that we're doing aren't having the effect that we want, why is that? Well, one of our philosophies at InMoment is that the answer to improving customer experience certainly isn't adding yet another customer experience survey. Of course, we all use surveys. Many of us will use market research, and some of us will probably be drawing insights from social reviews. But what I think we need to do is a little bit of a mindset shift. Instead of asking for feedback, we need to listen more. Listen more to the data that we already have across our organizations. Things like chat logs, agent notes, email threads, everything that's coming into our customer services team, and in particular, things like call transcripts. Because when we put all of this together, we're really building an integrated CX architecture that's pulling insights from across our organization to help us make better decisions. Now, when I talk to organizations about this, they go, well, isn't that really complex? Well, actually, the answer is no. With advances in large language models, advanced analytics, advanced intelligence, AI, this is becoming easier and easier. And a lot of what we're going to do today is show you how that can be done. So one of our messages is about using the data you already have, in particular from your customer services, to gain greater insight to drive better action. So here's something that I'm sure many of us hear on a regular basis. Apologies, my dog's just joined the webinar for us. Your call may be recorded for training and quality purposes. Well, if all of this recording's happening and all of this quality processes are improving, again, why are we still struggling to deliver better customer experiences? Well, maybe SQM Group have got a little bit of insight to that answer. So 95% of call centers are using some form of QA and coaching to improve customer experience. But what they say in contrast to that is the vast majority of agents don't believe their QA program helps them to improve customer experience. Now, SQM have explored this, and one of their conclusions is that a lot of QA is focused too heavily on internal processes. Call script adherence, caller verification, all of these sorts of things that are great for measuring your process, but don't actually measure the outcome to the customer. And that's perhaps what we're missing, an alignment and integration of information from across your contact center. Yes, how well the agents do, any contact center metrics, but also that resolution for the customer themselves. And that's really what we mean by our approach of conversation intelligence, bringing data from multiple sources, aligning through the power of artificial intelligence and large language models, so that we understand the end-to-end conversation that customers are having. We can use that insight to better coach our agents, upskill them, improve their capabilities and competencies, so that we drive better outcomes. And of course, we do this at scale. We're doing this on all the conversations that come through your contact center, not just a subsample of people who perhaps fill in a post-call survey. And when we get it right, there's huge value and outcome to be gained. We're improving cost to serve. We're reducing handling time. We're reducing risk because we're understanding compliance violations through that script analysis, through the text analysis. Decreasing agent churn, decreasing customer churn. If we deliver them better experiences, we're going to drive a better emotional engagement that enhances loyalty. Increasing productivity through automation, and of course, earning higher share of wallet. We know our contact centers are powerful opportunities to upsell, gain the trust of customers. So let's make the best of all the information we have coming from these conversations to drive these kinds of outcomes. So before we move on to the demonstration that Evelin's going to share, I want to get under the hood of what's going on with conversation intelligence. And I want to draw your eye to the center panel that we've named conversation intelligence, because there's some important stuff going on here. When we analyze the information coming through this call transcript, we're not just analyzing it as a stream of consciousness, a stream of text, but we specifically identify what does the agent say, and then what does the customer say. We tease out the competencies, the capabilities of the agent. We understand the challenges, the pain points, the emotion that comes through from the customer. So we're getting a much rounded, more effective analysis of this conversation. And like I say, it's done at scale. This can be done on all of your conversations from your contact center. So Evelin's going to take over in a moment, and I want to draw your attention to a few things that I think are really standout features from her demo. The first is omnichannel voice of customer. Yes, of course, we're analyzing the conversation between the agent and the customer, but we're combining that with insights, metrics from your contact center, and we're also aligning it with feedback from customers. That 360 view helps us to better understand what's happening on those calls. We're then building specific role-based dashboards so that an agent can understand their strengths and weaknesses, that a coach, a supervisor can identify which agents need most help and which agents should be recognized for doing a fantastic job. This all enables us to use the data to then coach agents and enable them to be much more effective. You'll see that conversation analytics in play, where we split out the speaker from the customer. That's really powerful ways that we can draw out insight. And then the final piece I want to draw your attention to is the quality assurance model that we can build. Now, this is something which is customized to every client. Understanding what you determine to be quality, we can build through text analysis and other models, something that allows you to automate the quality assurance measurements that will enhance your understanding of how effective your calls are at resolving customer problems. So on that note, let me hand over to Evelin for her demonstration.
Thank you, Jeremy. Let's see how technology can help us harvest the benefits of conversation intelligence. So this is how it could look in the technology when we build, like Jeremy said, the omni-channel view, where we bring all the different data sources together in one big view for the supervisor in the call center. And this can be data coming from the survey, from the feedback you get from your clients with the NPS scores, the customer effort score, but also the data coming from your internal systems about wait times on the calls or cases created. And then in the middle, you can also see what we actually generate from all this data, thanks to artificial intelligence, calculating return risk for your customers, but also what Jeremy mentioned already, the quality assurance score, which really helps us to understand if the interviewers is correctly following the script and holding up the standards that you defined for all the performance you want to have your agents delivering on. So on this dashboard, we bring all those measures together in one big glance, and you can then go deeper and really understand that not only for the whole holistic picture of your call center, but actually go deeper and look at this on a team by team level or even on an agent level. And on the first glance, you can already see the quality assurance score is something that we really want to make sure agents are meeting. So this is something we have been above the goals in the past, but now we are losing ground, especially in this year, because we onboarded lots of new agents. So this score will help us understand, and that's something AI can do for you today. So the supervisor doesn't have to go into each single call, evaluating those on certain criteria, but let AI and the model do that for them. So it quickly sifts through all the information, all the call transcripts, and understands if the interviewers are actually understanding the reason for why customers are calling in, if they help reduce the customer effort, if they make a connection with the customer, if they quickly spot the urgent need for problem resolution, what needs to be done. All those things now can be automatically extracted from the data and reported back to the supervisor in a nice way, either for the single items or in like we did here in the holistic score that can be tracked over time. But you can even go deeper and really understand how the data comes together, like not only for what's the customers are talking about in the call themselves, what are the topics that are actually bringing to the agent's desk in a positive and negative way, but also after the call in terms of what are the topics that we as a call center have been really good solving for them, or even like haven't been good solving for them. So I can now go deeper and actually help coaching and go deeper and really understand each single call if I want to filtering that down and going into one call. And this is a really nice functionality coming with AI as well, that I don't have to look through all the call myself. I can actually have AI summarizing that kindly for me. So I have a quick overview of what the call was about, what was the topics that the customer mentioned, and also in terms of the measures, if the agent actually met the expectations that we briefed them on. And next thing to look at is I can quickly understand, especially for the newcomers, that I can now look how good is the agent, just filtering for the agent parts of the dialogue. How good is the agent actually handling disappointment? By just clicking on it, I can quickly jump to the right spots and understand how the agent is handling that. Or when it comes to frustration as well. And also on the customer side, it's much easier and quicker for me to understand, clicking on the customer segment, to understand what's the topics this customer have been like calling in for. Was it a defective gift card? I can now see these are the 3 topics that my agents are up for handling for this customer. So this is the level of detail that the new technology really gave each supervisor, and it allows us to aggregate it up to a level that really helps you to focus and go high level, top down to the agents you want to help and coach them on. So now let's go a level deeper on the agent's scorecard. Filtering for one agent, we can actually also look agent by agent and give every agent their own scorecard, so they have the transparency about their own performance, which is really important to make them like really feel valued and also understand what they want to work on together with the supervision, and then improving their performance in a guided way. So for this case, we have filtered for Abraham Adams, and we have the same scores and KPIs looked at as we do on the supervisor dashboard. And I can now understand as Abraham that my quality assurance score is really below the goals. So I want to work on that. These are the measures I can focus on in terms of improving myself, being more bound to the script that I was taught on. And we can even go so far that then Abraham can sit together with the supervisor and really define what's the performance areas he needs to focus on in terms of improvement, what's the goals we set, and really tangible, measurable KPIs to improve. And also, like, what's the measures we can take? What's the task Abraham can take on in order to improve his performance in terms of training? And even linking out to your own LMS systems in terms of learning. So clicking on this link will then allow to actually go into your library and really look at these are the product trainings that Abraham should be doing and book those into his calendar and make that happen. There's one more component where we can actually really go predictive about the results and the data we bring together by playing on different scenarios. And what we do here is actually a multivariate driver analysis looking at your data. So yes, I can segment that for different brands or for different regions or for different call center times as well. But what you can see here is the outcome of a multivariate driver analysis telling me these are the number 1 and 2 priority areas to improve that really drive my NPS up or down. So I can see agent satisfaction is really important. It's the number 1 driver. So what happens if I really spend some time with Abram improving the agent satisfaction? I can now level that up and see it has a direct effect on my score here on the NPS as well. And I can see in the matrix that it actually bumps me out from the focus area into the maintain area. So that's definitely something we want to do. But also I can go deeper and see, okay, what's the next best thing to do in terms of priority 2 or priority 3. So filtering that down, for example, for the sports products, I can now see that felt valued is something that really comes up from ranking number 4 to number 2. So in this product sections, felt value is something the customers really feel like we can improve. And we can go deeper and see which areas are affected. Again, from the text analytics, it will help us understand what's the positive impact, helpfulness, staff, sales associates coming in is really helpful. But on the negative side, we see it's the online orders going wrong, it's cancellations done without, and it's usually linked to a certain product type, which is the footwear. So all those things help us focus on the right things, but we can even go further and really allow the supervisor to go deeper in terms of action planning using AI and to really understand what he or she should be doing. A smart summary, for example, can help us going through the data and understand what is the customer like and what customers dislike. So going through this whole data set, it tells me the prompt and efficient resolution is something they really appreciate, including the patience and the attentiveness the agents give to the customers. On the dislike side, they found something like lack of understanding, especially when it comes to English language, or frustration over orders being canceled without a clear communication was something that we can work on. And also tells us the ways to improve. That means what's the customers actually suggesting as an improvement. So they are suggesting us a better communication, including follow-ups on undelivered items, or even having a chat functionality launched for an immediate assistance. So now I have all this data brought together by AI to really focus on the things that we can find in the data that would help the business to improve. But going back, knowing all those things that I now learned from the dashboards and from the AI, I can now go and actually plan my action. And this can be absolutely something around the things I just learned, or something completely else. Like in this case, I basically plan the action on reducing the wait time and train the agents on the new products, especially the shoes for the sports segments, and focus on the pioneer attitude. So these are all examples how we can use conversation AI to help the call centers, the agents, to generate and boost their performance, but as well reduce churn on the customer side, but also on the agent side, creating the transparency they need and want to do a better job. With that said, I would hand over back to Jeremy.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Evelin. That was an amazing demonstration. It's incredible to see what generative AI, large language models can do with conversations from your contact center to turn all of that chat, all of that conversation into really meaningful insights to enable you to coach your teams more effectively, identify processes perhaps that need improving, and improve CX. And that's really what this slide is all about. I just wanted to share a story from Foot Locker. And they're one of our early adopters on conversation intelligence and really feeling the benefit of it. We're putting in data for them from both call transcripts and chat transcripts. And I think the important message from me is that last sentence: the increased understanding leads to more call deflection and process improvement to reduce the number of team calls, the number of calls to the customer support team. So huge outcome for Foot Locker by taking part in this conversation intelligence piece of work. It's generating huge value for them. And I'd love for you guys to have the same benefits. So our takeaway messages: your contact center is a powerful source of intelligence, insight, and revenue. It's an opportunity to improve customer experiences, and you can bring together your call transcripts, your chat logs, with post-call surveys, with internal data to really understand what's driving better outcomes for customers. We're working across industries to understand how to gain the most from the data that organizations have from customer services. So we'll guide you to make the most of your QA, your agent coaching, to deliver better outcomes. Because in essence, that's what it's all about. You could join Foot Locker in driving greater ROI and building greater customer loyalty through a better, nuanced understanding of your conversations from contact centers to really round out your understanding of the pain points, the challenges that customers might be having, and improve your customer experience, get ever closer to that finishing line that we talked about right at the beginning. So over to you, Diana. I'm sure you've got a few words just to close us out.
Right. Thank you very much, Jeremy and Evelin, for taking us through kind of the potential of conversation intelligence and what it can do to improve your sales journey, listening into more channels and signals as you already do. So if you want to hear more about conversation intelligence and how you can apply this to your program, feel free to reach out to your point of contact at InMoment. Or if you want to meet us live and see this tool in action, do come and join us at the XR Forum in London on the 10th of October or at the XR Club Forum in Munich on the 19th of September. We're more than happy to kind of have that conversation on a one-on-one basis with you. And with that, thanks again, Jeremy and Evelin, for your time, and then see you at our next event.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Have a wonderful day.